What's up, friends? Welcome in to Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Thanks to everybody who's watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube as well. With Elijah Schmidt and Trey Myers behind the camera, alongside Dan Courtwright, I'm Sean Kellerman. Thanks, as always, for joining us here on KansasNation.com. Got a lot to get to today. Got the Home Run Derby last night, MLB All-Star game tonight. Here in the opening segment, though, we're talking some KU news. First on the basketball side regarding one of the 8 coaches in the history of KU basketball. And then on the baseball side, good news for some guys who went undrafted in the MLB draft and have gone to social media to announce they will be returning. We'll break that down here in the opening segment. Next segment, Jordan Walker wins the Home Run Derby. Give our thoughts on that. A chorus of boos at Citizen Bank Park where two Phillies were getting after it, and they unfortunately fell to Jordan Walker. Kind of a good story, especially financially. I'll tell you about that. And we'll also preview the All-Star game that comes up tonight. We'll let you know where Bobby Witt Jr. is hitting, and will we see Michael Wacha? To wait and see. But Caglione last night, Home Run Derby, he put on a little bit of a show, honestly. Only hit 8 homers, but one went 477. Dude's got some monster power. We'll talk NBA Summer League after that, and then we'll bring on David Lesky from Inside the Crown via Zoom. David is our Royals insider. A lot to talk to him about today, honestly. Not just the Derby and the All-Star game, but MLB Draft. Curious his thoughts on kind of the managerial situation the Royals are in right now, having the worst record in the league. That doesn't usually bode well. The Royals are generally pretty loyal, as the Chiefs are, to some of their guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a Midwest hospitality or what, but
I think it's a detriment to the Royals as a whole.
If you're being completely honest. But want to know Lesky's thoughts on the trade deadline, too, because July is a busy month with all the pomp and circumstance of the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby, but then you've got the draft, the Home Run Derby as well. So we'll bring, or the trade deadline as well. So we'll bring on Lesky and get his thoughts on all of that via Zoom. After that, Dan, a Top 10 Tuesday. What do we got today?
It's Top 10 Tuesday. I went back and forth on this. I was going to do something birthday related. I might do that on Thursday. My birthday is actually tomorrow. It's the July 15th.
And you will be celebrating by going to Overland Park.
No.
In the morning.
Oh, yeah, in the morning. That's right.
Meeting.
I will be. Yeah, actually, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes, we will be going out to the 810 studios for my birthday, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yes.
But for today, we're doing a top 10 things to do when there are no sports on. Because tomorrow, on my birthday, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing going on whatsoever. It's like that every single year on my birthday. There's just nothing going on. Just one of those. I mean, it always happens around this time where it's during the All-Star break for baseball, so there's no baseball going on. Obviously, no football or basketball or whatever. There's summer league going on, so I guess you can watch that. The World Series of Poker, I guess, if you want to tune into that or whatever. So I've compiled a list of different things that you and I can do to pass the time, if you will.
I like it. All right, looking forward to that. We maybe have done this on our previous show. I don't remember.
I don't know. They all kind of mesh together.
We really need to get a running list. We do have a running list of some stuff here on our rundown when we prepare for shows.
You would think I would have a running list of all the top 10s that I've done.
We should start that.
No, we should. Well, because there was one time.
We've had some really good segments, though.
We have, but there was a couple of times, I think on this one, on this show in particular, we accidentally ran into the situation where I did a top 10 that I had done previously, and we didn't figure it out until pick number 5. And I was like, oh my God, I've done this whole thing before.
That's right. Okay, that sounds right. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right now go on our rundown, and what I'm going to, let's see. Okay, so what do I need to do here? I want to get a side panel. There's a tiny side panel arrow to expand. I want to get that going.
You're gonna put in all the top 10s that I've done.
I don't know. I think we need to start doing that, right?
Probably.
We had some good ones. We have I don't know. We've dumbed it down a little bit.
Yeah, I did my top 10 mascots. I think I could beat in a fight. That was a fun one.
Oh my God! But we've done summer activities. We've done Sunday activities.
Yeah.
That was when I think we really hit our stride.
Forbidden foods. Yeah.
The first 2 months we started working together, we did Sunday activities, and we started talking about laundry.
Yeah.
And the chair that you throw your
Oh yeah,
laundry on.
Everyone's got that chair.
Yeah, because everybody's got the chair that you
agree.
haven't folded your laundry.
We're still feeling each other out,
but you have to move it, and you're like, yes,
that's right. That was like
out.
first month or two that we started working together, and we were like, all right,
we've done top 10 sidekicks.
That's a good one too,
that was a good
man.
one.
That was a really good.
There have been some.
Maybe I'll bring them back because that was on the old show.
Yeah.
Now we have the new show.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll bring up. Maybe we'll recycle.
We
thing
should
or
at
two.
least start taking note once I figure out this Google Sheet thing. I just want to add like a little Post-it note or something to keep our. But I can't do that while I'm
have
talking.
my own Google Doc that you don't have access to. Is just all my top 10s, but then I just delete them after they're.
Why would you do that?
You know, it's that.
All right, moving on. We've had some good top 10s.
It's not smart of me.
We've had some good top 10 segments. The only thing we can say with absolute certainty is that today will not be one of those. At the end of the show today, we are going to continue our KU football opponent outlook as we look at West Virginia. Dan has a lot of really good stuff in the rundown right now regarding West Virginia as the Jayhawks are going to be taking on the Mountaineers in Morgantown on November 14th. So, we've got 3 more opponents. Yep. West Virginia, BYU, who's Kansas Senior Day opponent, at David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium on the 21st. We'll preview them tomorrow. And then on Thursday's show, we will close it out by previewing Oklahoma State, who Kansas will close out the regular season against on November 28th, which I believe is the Saturday. KU does not play on Black Friday this year.
That's correct.
That's kind of a relief. Saturday, November 28th, KU in Stillwater. So after that, we haven't fully decided, but we think what we're going to do is we're going to transition over to the Chiefs' opponents because that's going to be here also very soon. A lot of football chatter here in July because we know that it's all about football here once we flip the calendar. All right, some news regarding KU basketball, but first, Dan, Crown Automotive, our founding partners, they are in your neck of the woods on South Iowa. Great selection of vehicles.
They are in my neck of the woods, and if you want to put my home address down there too, that would be perfectly fine as well. But yeah, be sure to check them out if you're in the market for a new or used car. Be sure to check out Crown Automotive, the best and friendliest sales staff here in Lawrence, in the whole tri-state area. I'll go ahead and say that. You know, all of Nebraska, all of Missouri, all of Kansas, the friendliest sales staff in town. They're not going to try to put you in some sporty little thing. They're not going to try to push any car on you. They're going to get you in the car that fits your lifestyle. So be sure to check them out. A whole line of new Toyotas and Volkswagens, Tiguan's, Taosas, Jettas, Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Tundras, you name it, Tacomas, they've got it. And if you don't like those brands, they have a whole line of used cars as well. So be sure to check them out, crownautomotive.com or crownmotorsvw.com.
We would be remiss to not give everybody out there a little afternoon cup check. Spain and France doing battle right now in the semifinals of the World Cup. We will recap that one tomorrow. I want to make sure that we get your cup checks. I know that's very important to everybody out there.
I can't go a day without a cup check.
I know, so got to fit that in. All right, Ted Owens, one of the 8 basketball coaches in the history of Kansas men's basketball to be inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. That's coming up on October 22nd in a ceremony at the College Basketball Experience in Kansas City. The NABC announced yesterday. Owens was the KU head coach for 19 seasons. From 1964 through 1983, he was 348 and 182. That's a 66% winning percentage. His 348 wins rank him as the 4th winningest coach in Kansas basketball history, behind Bill Self, Fog Allen, and Roy Williams. KU under Coach Owens won 6 Big 8 conference regular season titles, 8 Big 8 holiday tournaments, and 1 Big 8 postseason tournament. Under Owens, KU advanced to the NCAA postseason play 7 times. He went to the Final Four in 71 and in 74. And in the 1968 postseason, the Jayhawks made the finals of the National Invitation Tournament. Bill Self saying, quote, "We're all so happy for Coach to receive this honor. In my opinion, it's been overdue, considering not only what he did for his respective employers, what he has done for the game overall has been terrific. I have become very close friends with Coach, and he's one of the most unselfish leaders I've ever been around. I don't know that I've ever met a coach who is as proud of his past players as Coach is. I'm so happy for him, and I can't wait to celebrate with him and his family," end quote. Class of 2026 also has some other names that you know. Jay Wright, who was the head coach at Villanova and Hofstra. Tubby Smith, Tulsa, Georgia, Kentucky, Minnesota, awesome. Texas Tech, Memphis, High Point. Glenn Rice, former player at Michigan. Danny Ainge, who I'm surprised he's not in there yet. He was a player at BYU. And then Walt Hazard, former player and coach at UCLA. Ted Owens was a 3-year basketball letterman at Oklahoma, 1949 to 1951. He turns 97 on Thursday. So one day off of your birthday,
Let's
Mr.
go.
Courtwright. Thursday, Coach Owens will be 97 years old. You know, my favorite stat in all of sports is the fact that KU has only had 8 coaches in 128 seasons of men's basketball. Ted Owens, not the best winning percentage of all of them, but you heard some of the stats that I just gave. He's
not the worst,
a part of the game, right? A part of the game. He's done so much for college basketball, and it does seem like it's overdue that he's finally going to be inducted in October.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely overdue. And, you know, I mean this with the utmost respect, but, like, for him to be essentially the 4th, maybe 5th best coach in Kansas basketball history and be inducted into the Hall of Fame is such an incredible achievement, right? I mean, he was the only coach in KU basketball history to be fired, and he's still going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, how impressive is that? That just goes to tell you that it's different here. You know what I mean? And he had a ton of different achievements as well during his time at Kansas, right? I mean, he had 2 Final Fours, 6 Big 8 conference titles, 5 All-Americans. He had JoJo White, Darnell Valentine, Dave Robish, Bud Stallworth, and Walt Wesley. I mean, all 5 of those guys are absolute legends here at the University of Kansas, so able to bring those guys in as well. A long, illustrious career here at the University of Kansas. So, yeah, I mean, well overdue. You know, he's still kicking, too. Turns 97 on Thursday. I mean, again, this is something that was overdue. Now there's only 2 coaches in history, Kansas basketball history, who have not been inducted into any Hall of Fame. Do you know who they are? I do.
Hamilton.
William O. Hamilton.
And
right before Ted Owens,
Dick Harp.
Yeah, there you go. There's also another guy. I've talked about this on the show before. I have it in my notes. Hold on. There's another guy who was technically coach for like 1 season or something.
Yeah, you have mentioned this before.
Carl Schliedeman. He wasn't even a coach for a season. He was coach for like a day. Carl Schliedeman, because Fog Allen was the head coach of Kansas basketball. Then Fog Allen got promoted to athletic director, took a back seat. They hired Carl Schliedeman for a day, 1 day. And then Carl Schliedeman said, actually, there's no money in basketball. So I'm going to go back to my bread and butter. I'm going to go back to selling cars. And so Fog Allen came back in. This is you can look this up. It's in David Booth. It's in the Booth Family Hall of Athletics. This is written down in there. They never mention Carl Schliedeman whenever you're talking about, you know, the 8 coaches in history, but technically there was 9. Technically, they hired Carl Schliedeman.
This seems like a Chris Courtwright nugget. Is that where you initially?
I found it.
Okay.
I found it. I was walking around. It was a KU. Maybe it might have been a women's game. I got there a couple of hours early, and I was just rooting around Booth Family Hall of Athletics, and I was just reading there in the early days. I was like, oh, okay, Carl Schliedeman.
Carl Schliedeman.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm going to look this up, but he lived from 1890 to 1980. He was the head track and field coach at KU from 1919 to 1926. All right, let me see. Let's see what I've got. He was the head line coach for varsity football his second year in Lawrence. Track coach.
But then,
you're right. A single basketball game before Fog Allen took over, 1919 to 1920.
Look at that.
And then he worked alongside Allen to start the Kansas Relays as well.
This guy knows ball.
Very cool. That's a great nugget.
I know.
That
is a trivia question nobody will get unless you listen to the show. Because I've brought this up to many people, and they're like, "Who the hell is Carl Schliedeman?" Like, guys,
he's
the forgotten coach. He's the forgotten Kansas basketball coach.
Yeah, it doesn't say. That year, though, Kansas went 11-7, 9-7 in conference play. It was Fogg's 3rd season. This is all very weird. By the way, we clocked Emporia State. Sorry, in case the Monday's for you. 37-22 at Robinson Gymnasium. That's so funny.
Isn't that crazy?
That's where KU played.
Shout out Hoke Auditorium.
That's so great. Man, very, very interesting. I want to know which game it was that he coached.
I don't know. I don't know.
KU went 11-7, but
it's kind of crazy though. And then Fog Allen, and then he quit to go sell cars. And then Fog Allen was like, all right, I guess I'll come back and be the coach.
That's crazy.
And the AD.
Good nugget. Well,
thank you, sir. But
one
Ted
game,
Owens.
yeah.
So
yes.
But yeah. Anyway, Ted Owens. Congratulations on this achievement. This is really, just well deserved. I think. Again, I mean this with the utmost respect, but he's not even in the top half of Kansas basketball coaches. Maybe he's right at halfway. Right? There's been 8.
Yeah.
He's either 4 or 5.
You're going Bill, Fogg, Roy, Larry Brown.
And then Larry Brown. And so, he's probably 5th best.
Yeah.
Right?
But, of course, was here a lot longer than Larry Brown was.
Sure.
So
was James Naismith, do you think he was a good coach?
I have no idea. I was not alive.
Probably
he was 55
not,
and
right?
60, though.
Well, you were roommates with him in college, weren't you?
I will say this. I think he was a pretty good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fair to say, right? Probably the best of the coaches we've had.
I'll go with in terms of I'll put Ted Owens probably over James Naismith. Just because James Naismith, he invented the game doesn't mean he was a good coach. He was the only coach with a losing record.
Hopefully we
Kansas,
never,
which again is that's one of my favorite stats.
Hopefully we never do a top 10 Kansas basketball coaches of all time, because hopefully we never get. We get 40 more years of Coach Self, and then
and then we die.
Maybe one more coach, and then we're done.
But technically, if you want to
Carl
get technical
Schledeman,
about it,
he's number 9
Carl
on that
Schledeman
list.
is
No
number
doubt.
9.
He's number 9. But no, congratulations
do you
to Ted
want
Owens.
if you want to get if you want to get deep into the weeds about it too, you got Norm and Jacques, who have technically coached.
That doesn't count.
That technically doesn't count.
That
Carl
was more
Schledeman was
so-
actually
but
hired as the head coach.
See, and all I saw is that he coached a game. So
I saw it in Booth Family Hall of Athletics that he was hired as the coach, but then left.
I'll swing back over there when
All
I'm
right.
on Naismith Drive. And
Go
check
for it.
out.
I'll show it to you, man.
KU baseball. You had a post earlier
I
today,
did.
actually, kind of combining the players on social media who have gone on record saying, hey, they're coming back to KU, and this is what we were hoping for, selfishly, honestly. Those guys didn't get drafted, which, I'm sure they were hoping to, and we were cheering for them on that front. But when they didn't get drafted, we were hoping to hear these guys were coming back. And feel free to go through that list. We did mention Bodie Ray yesterday, but a couple other crucial pieces for KU baseball.
So Bodie Ray came out yesterday and said that it's time to run it back, put out a picture of them winning the Big 12. I think it was the regular season championship was the picture that he put out there. Also, 2 very notable names came out and said the exact same thing. They said, let's run it back. Cade Baldridge and Augusto Mungarieta. So this is absolutely massive. And we talked a little bit about this with Springer yesterday, but kind of a nice change of pace, I guess, for Dan Fitzgerald, because he doesn't have to find a new second baseman. He doesn't have to find a new either A, relief, or B, starter, because Bodie Ray can do either of those things. We saw him start a number of games last year, but he's more so utilized as a reliever. Now, to me, Bodie Ray seems like the kind of guy, he has a strong enough arm to be able to be one of those starters, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it may be. And then, you bring back Augie, who is your catcher, right? So you don't have to replace those guys. And then you look at what Cade and Augusto Mungarieta did last year. Cade Baldridge hit 320 with a 866 OPS. He had 81 hits last year, 7 home runs. Augusto Mungarieta hit 292 with 17 home runs last year, 970 OPS. Baldridge is a switch hitter. We know this, and he can kind of go back and forth between whatever. I would love to see his splits, by the way, in terms of how well he hits right-handed versus left-handed. But Augusto Mungarieta coming back, he was, second on the team last year in home runs, but only behind Tyson LeBlanc, who was the all-time single-season record holder for the University of Kansas. So 17 home runs. You're bringing that back this coming year, so you don't have to replace your catcher. You don't have to replace your second biggest bat in theory. And you're bringing back Cade Baldridge, who, if you're giving out gold gloves, he definitely deserves one, because he was such a tremendous second baseman from last year. And he dealt with a little bit of injury. That's fine. But also, talk about a consistent bat, too, right? 320. He's not a power hitter, right? He had 7 home runs last year, but not necessarily a power hitter, but a guy who gets on base. So that's absolutely massive. And then Bodie Ray, talk about an arm that you love to see coming back. Bodie Ray, 4.27 ERA from last year. You might look at that and say, it's not the best, but really impressive stuff from him. The stuff is there, the movement is there. He's tall. He's got that outstanding release on his pitches. 1.19 whip. He went 6-1 last year. I mean, just a really, really nice arm, and that's going to be awesome heading in because you're also, in theory, going to be bringing back Ryan Ritter. You're going to be bringing back Mason Cook, right? Aiden Klein's going to be coming back. I think Manning West, that was his last year, but still, you're bringing back a lot of guys, and this is something that we haven't seen really in the Dan Fitzgerald era, where the retention, right? You're going to have some names that you remember from last year, where as it was 2 years ago heading into this past year, you only had Brady, you only had Dariel Osoria, right? But now you have a majority of your middle field, and Dylan Schlotterbeck can still come back as well. Dylan Schlotterbeck never entered the transfer portal, and he never got signed by a professional team. So Dylan Schlotterbeck at third base could also come back too. He hasn't put out anything on social media yet saying that he's coming back, but still, having that retention, I think, is so important for Kansas to be able to maintain the success that they had.
So you do have another year of Manning West. He
have another year of Manning West.
Won on social media as well, so that's fantastic. So again, when you look at the pitching, you have Ryan Ritter, you have Bodie Ray, you have Manning West. That's a great place to start pitching. Yeah. And, there's some other pieces as well. But, yeah, I mean, this is better than any signing day, transfer portal, high school incoming freshman that Kansas could have asked for. JUCO, whatever. This is a lot of guys from a really talented, really successful team who know the culture, know the program, know the expectations, all announcing they're coming back. I mean, so expectations are going to be very high for Kansas because you're losing your best player. There's no doubt about that in Tyson LeBlanc. LeBlanc had probably the best individual season that anybody's ever had here at KU. But you also are returning Tyson Owens. So you're losing Brady Ballinger. In all likelihood, you're losing Josh Jaikoff. You're losing Jordan Bach. But Baldridge, a guy who hit 320 and started 60 of KU's 63 games. It was a shame that he didn't get to play against Oklahoma in that series. He had 14 doubles, 7 homers. And like you said, played awesome defense. He could play second base, and he did so fantastically. He also can play in the outfield. So that's interesting. Now, you're good at center field because you've got Tyson Owens out there who has a lot of power and hit a essentially conference clinching home run at BYU, did Tyson Owens. So he's going to be at the top of the order, as is Baldridge, who hit third behind Tyson LeBlanc for a lot of the year. Then you have Augusto Mungarrieta, another middle-of-the-order bat. You mentioned 292. He hit 17 homers. I mean, if Kansas didn't have Tyson LeBlanc hit 25, we'd be talking about Augusto and his power in the middle of the order because 17 is the second most on the team. He drove in 50, and not to mention he started 55 games, played in 61, most of them behind the dish. So a fantastic player to get back. You mentioned Schlotterbeck. He's an awesome defender. He's going to be a guy who provides some offensive pop as well. But, yeah, I mean, just looking at this from the guys who have said they're coming back offensively, okay, you don't feel bad at all about maybe you hit Owens second, Baldridge third, Mungarrieta fourth. You know that Kansas will get another power bat, and we've got some incoming players. And as Nick said yesterday, it's not as easy to keep track on who's committing to Kansas from a baseball standpoint as it is basketball or football. But, you're losing left-handed bats in Ballinger, Jaikoff, and Bach, and that's a lot of power you're losing there as well. So you're going to be getting some powerful left-handed bats. But even if you don't, which you will, you're still looking at a 2-3-4 that's very good Big 12 lineup with Owens, Baldridge, and Mungarrieta. So, it's going to be awesome. There are some other spots to fill. We know that Kansas is losing Dariel Osoria. You're losing Savion Flowers and Max Solis Jr. We know that. But that's a great day for KU baseball. It's been awesome these past 24, 48 hours seeing everybody commit. And then, like I said, pitching-wise, you're losing Vagley, you're losing Nayrall, but you return Cook and West and Bodie Ray. I mean, that's a great place to be and something that, like you said, Coach Fitz haven't been able to kind of enjoy a group coming back, right? From a talent standpoint and from a number standpoint, like they will this upcoming season. Yeah, and that's just, I mean, it's less turnover, which is good, and that was my main concern in terms of Kansas baseball is how sustainable is it for having virtually an entire roster turnover every single year. But you have this retention, especially in the infield, right? Especially with the pitching staff. Obviously, you're losing your ace in Dom Vagley. He was your number one guy
it makes sense, right? I mean, obviously you're gonna lose guys like that in the third round when you have a guy who's as dominant as Don Bagley was, but you have so much retention that it's gonna take a little bit of the pressure off of John Coyne, off of Dan Fitzgerald, just because of the fact that they don't have to replace as many guys, and you have all these bats, all of these arms who were so dominant from last year that they're just going to continue to build off of it. And you can see these guys really buying in, right? I mean, take for instance, who's the guy who transferred over to LSU last year?
Cooper Moore.
Cooper Moore transferred to LSU. He utilized the success that Kansas had the year before that and jumped up to the next level. But now you're seeing the retention here, which is telling you that Kansas is up there at that level right now where guys want to buy in and they want to run it back and they want to, go back to super regionals, try to make a run at the College World Series, because this is right now the pinnacle of college baseball. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility to say. This is a damn good team. They have, put a lot of money into this KU baseball program with everything that they did at Hogan Ballpark, with the backyard, with the decks, with all the expanded seating around it, right? You can see the investment, and I think the guys understand that investment as well.
Yeah, it's been fun to see. And again, all of the support that KU Athletics and the donors have provided KU baseball, just unbelievable ascent of this program since Coach Fitz has gotten here. And we'll continue to let you know if we see any other guys committing to come back to KU, because it's been a lot of fun and gets us pumped up for baseball next year, without a doubt. Hopefully KU gets even further than they did this year, where they got to host a super regional. What an experience that was. After this, though, we're talking Home Run Derby, MLB All-Star Game. David Lesky will join the show a little bit later as well to talk about the Royals and their plan for the second half of the season and moving forward. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and kansasnation.com. Hey, here in the second segment, we're going to bring on David Lesky from Inside the Crown to talk all things Royals baseball. Jayhawk fans show up, pack the fieldhouse, and wave the wheat. When it comes to money, Ameritrust brings that same energy. That's because financial well-being isn't just something they offer, it's why they exist. Real people, local decisions, a team that actually knows your name. When you're ready to improve your financial game plan, they're ready. Ameritrust Credit Union is the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Visit ameritrust.org to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. David, thanks for joining us again. We are bemoaning the fact that it's such a slow sports week here on Rock Chalk Sports, but happens every year. Exciting last night. Let's start with that, though. We saw some bombs from Kaggs. He only hit 8 homers, but a good Derby performance nonetheless. 477, I think, was officially his longest, but it was cool seeing the lefty swing the bat on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, also, if you think that was 477, I don't know why they're shortchanging it, but come on. It's the home run derby. If anything, say it's farther than it is. Like, people want to see 530.
Right.
And, the other comment, I mean, they might want to sign his dad for the bullpen.
So,
my God, right?
There were some really nasty pitches in there, which Kaggs laid off a couple, so good for him. He looked fine. It took him a couple pitches to get going, and then he got in a rhythm and then lost the rhythm, and it just didn't sync up for him. But he didn't embarrass himself by any stretch. So that was fun, and I liked the Derby format, the new format. Did you guys like it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually see the things
skeptical.
go over the fence. If
Netflix would have shown them, yes.
Yeah.
It was, the production left something to be desired, but the actual format, I enjoyed it. I love the home run derby though. Like I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but I feel like whenever I say that, people are like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's okay." Like when you write about baseball, when you cover baseball, it's not that it's not fun. I don't want to say that, but like games matter, right? And the home run derby doesn't matter. So it's sheer enjoyment. And I don't feel like we get as much of that in the way we, I'm watching a game to figure out what to write about and find the story. And it's not that I don't enjoy it, but it's just a different type of enjoyment. So I love it.
Yeah. It's pageantry too.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun if it was all the time, but it's fun once a year.
Well, tonight's the All-Star game. Bobby Witt Jr. starting for the Royals, hitting 5th. Interesting lineup, of course. This it sucks every year, but you have a bunch of guys who aren't playing who, you'd love to see in there. Nick Kurtz, Aaron Judge, Byron Buxton. But Bobby, a chance to shine on the big stage again. And, then we'll talk about the second half of the season. But it's always great seeing him represent Kansas City. And it was fun last night, too, seeing him cheer on Cags.
Yeah, him. I don't know if you got to Waka with his daughter. Was freaking adorable. So, no, that was fun. I'm excited to see Bobby tonight. His first start, which it should be his second, maybe third. I can't remember. In 24, he was having a great year. I can't remember if there was somebody that was deserving. I don't even remember who started. That's how memorable the All-Star game is. But I'm looking up right now who the starters were. But
was it Gunnar?
It was Gunnar Henderson. And I'm curious if he deserved it or not. But regardless, it's nice to nice to see him in that starting lineup. I'm looking up right now. Let's see, Gunnar in the first half. Oh, he deserved it. Yeah. Witt was hitting 323, 369, 558. Gunnar was 286, 373, 584. So like you can't go wrong. Obviously Bobby had the crazy second half that propelled him, but it's good to see that Witt's finally getting that start. And the way that voting goes, it's not going to be his last. Once you start, it's like Gold Gloves. Once you start winning them, like you just kind of keep going with it for a while. So, that's exciting, and hopefully Waka gets to throw today. And there's a couple Royals highlights not a great year, but hey, there's a couple good things.
Yeah, absolutely. David Lesky from Inside the Crown. And David, one more All-Star question for you. I guess Sean and I have talked about this a lot, but the MLB All-Star game is the one that actually I guess you can look at, and there's the best performances being put out there. Like the NBA All-Star game, everyone's just chucking up threes and nobody plays defense. They're just running around. I mean, the Pro Bowl has just turned into a complete joke. But the MLB All-Star game, that's like actual good baseball being played. But something, and I don't know if I'm in the minority in this or not, I miss when they had that stretch where it determined home field. I think that gave a little bit more. What are your thoughts on that? You don't like that at all?
No, look, I like the idea behind it. I get it. I totally get that you want to make it mean something and all that. The problem I have, let's look at this year's All-Star. I'm gonna look at the lineups real quick. But we'll use Bobby Witt while I'm looking it up. Bobby Witt's going to decide who plays Game 1 at home in the World Series. Bobby Witt from the 38 and 59 Royals.
Right. Fair.
That to me is one of those things. It's like I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. Home field advantage is important in the World Series. And look, it benefited the Royals twice. They got home field because of the All-Star game in 14 and 15. I just don't. I think there's got to be a better way, and I'm okay with this All-Star game being a total exhibition. And the reason it's better than the others is because in the other games, you can play differently and still be okay. You can't really play differently in baseball.
True.
Like maybe you don't dive for a ball, okay. Maybe you don't crash into the wall for a catch, sure. But like you pitch, you hit. I mean, it's very difficult to change your game in baseball, and so you have to play it the way that you typically play. And so I think that alone it lends itself to being a competitive game, whereas football, we're not gonna blitz. Right. They don't even play the game anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Basketball, we'll just chuck up threes. We're not gonna drive. We're not gonna go hard into the paint, like all that. Baseball, you've got to play your game. So look, I get why they did it. I get why it's enjoyable too. So I don't want to yuck your yum here, but I do. I think that you can still have a competitive game without it meaning something.
Sure.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes tonight. Bobby Witt hitting 5th for the American League. And, it's always fun. The best of the 4 major sports All-Star games, without question, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, bad first half for the Royals. They end the first half getting swept by the Orioles. They're 21 games under 500, tied for the worst record in baseball. They are 1 run better than the Rockies, or else they would have the worst run differential in baseball. what's your take on, the managerial situation for the Royals? Because a lot of people online are very frustrated. A lot of fans frustrated with Coach Q and, pretty much every coach on the staff for the Royals, and understandably so, because the Royals are not winning games. So what's kind of your take on that and the path for success in the future for the Royals?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's results based. So if they're not winning, like, somebody's got to take the fall eventually. Where I struggle quite a bit is, like, I got a comment yesterday, and I don't hate to call somebody out, because, hey, they're a paying subscriber, and everybody's allowed to have their opinion and all that. Like, somebody said, how often does a manager that's been around for 4+ years keep his job falling that short of expectations? Did 24 and 25 not happen? Like did those seasons? Did I dream that? Did they make the playoffs? Did they have a winning season last year? This is not like a trend of, oh, they've sucked for 4 years. No, they were good. They were good in 24. They were slightly above average in 25 record wise. This is not like Matt Quatrero's been terrible at his job for 4 years and they gave him an extension. No, they gave him an extension based on having like, I think the 12th best record in baseball, coming off a 100 over 2 years, coming off a 106 loss season. I have a really difficult time with this idea that, oh, they've sucked for years. No, they haven't. This is not the 4th year of falling short of expectations. This is the 1st year of falling short of expectations. Yeah. And I also think that there is a and this I don't even know how to word this properly, because I don't want it to come off as like arrogant or like I know more than anybody. But I really do think there's a misconception of a manager's job and what they can and can't control. Like Cameron Meisner, I'll use him, and I'm going against a guy who's not even here to defend himself because he got optioned back to Omaha when Vinny came off the IL. But not that he'd be here anyway, I guess. I don't know. Unless he's on, is he back there? Do you guys have Cameron Meisner nearby?
We don't. Sorry.
I would assume you don't have a Mizzou guy on this podcast,
right.
Or on this show. But like he was a bad base runner. Let's be like he looked like he had never played baseball before. He made bad decisions. Is that Matt Quatrero's fault? Like I don't think that that's the coaching staff's fault that this minor league free agent that they brought in. I guess they put him on the 40-man, so it's more than a minor league free agent. But this depth piece that they had to go to after injuries is a bad base runner. And I think that a manager can't do it's not the same as football. Like, discipline in football comes from coaches, I think.
Yeah.
Discipline in baseball comes from baseball IQ. You either have it or you don't. That's not on Matt Quatrero or Damon Holland. Well, that's a different story. We can get to that in a second. But like, I don't think what the job of the manager is what most people think it is. And the reality is, look, if they don't win, he's going to lose his job. Probably not going to be this year, given that he just signed an extension that it doesn't even start till next season. But if they go into next year and this happens again, I don't think Matt Quatrero is back in 2028. He may not be back after the break in 2027 if this happens again. And so yes, there is that the results do matter. But to look at that and say he's the reason, I guided. Now, I do think that there are some. I'm curious, and I know why the answer is, but I'm interested in, like, Brian Sweeney. Pitching has been horrific this year. You don't hear a word about Brian Sweeney.
Yeah.
Like, it is never, oh man, Brian Sweeney's bad at his job. The offense has 2 runs on 6 hits, and it's fire Alex Zumwalt. And the reason is obviously that the Royals pitching has had success the last 2 years. And this is the first year, which is so interesting that Matt Quatrero doesn't get that same benefit, but Brian Sweeney does. But like, Royals pitching, I mean, if you look at the numbers, they currently, at the break, have the 3rd worst ERA in baseball. It's approaching 5. Now, without Cole Reagan, without Chris Bubich, without Carlos Estevez, but like Lucas Erceg has struggled. Matt Strahm has been terrible. Like, who's had a good season on this pitching staff? It's Michael Wacha, who, by the way, hasn't actually been great since his start of the season. It's Daniel Lynch, who does it with smoke and mirrors. He's doing it again this season. John Schreiber's had a nice year after he started slowly, but everybody else has kind of struggled. And Brian Sweeney you don't hear his name ever. I think he deserves some criticism. I really do. I think the base running, it's funny. Everybody talks about, oh, the Royals base running is atrocious. They get thrown out too much. Now, Fangraphs rates base running. The Royals are middle of the pack in base running, 0.3 base running runs above average. So they're 0.3 base running runs, not above average. They're 15th in baseball. A lot of that's Bobby Witt, but they're not a bad base running team. StatCast, I believe, has them as the 12th best base running team. They run into outs. So two things. One, baseball IQ. Damon Hollins is the base running coach. I think there's a chance he doesn't do a great job of teaching guys situationally. But also, all these guys are 30-year-olds who have played baseball for 27 years. So, like,
Right.
At some point, you just are what you are. And I think Vance Wilson sometimes gets a little too aggressive on his sends. I also think he does that because he doesn't believe in the bats to come through. I think that they feel that they have to push the envelope, and if they get thrown out on the bases, so be it. They will be a net positive, which, again, the StatCast numbers show that they actually are a net positive. There are some times that you're like, what are you doing, man? So I do think that there is some blame to go on the coaching staff. I just struggle a little bit with the Quatrero situation because I've seen some things online. Oh, he's cost the team 11 games this year. Really? I can't believe he put Matt Strahm in the 8th inning. Oh, the guy who they traded for to pitch in the 8th inning.
Yeah. To face all lefties.
Let's blame a player. Let's blame a player once in a while. It's okay. It's okay to blame them for not being good enough.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fair, and I mean you bring up a good point. We'll bring this up with like KU basketball sometimes. It's like Bill Self isn't the one missing threes, you know, like yeah,
totally,
yeah. Like Matt Quatrero, he's not the one pitching in the 8th inning. He's not the one swinging the bat, right? So yeah, I mean you should put some blame on the players, I guess, for just lack of production, I guess.
But also, real quick, let's go back to last season. I mean, do you look at that Royals bullpen and think, oh, that's a talented unit? That is a good bullpen. With you've got your closer striking out 20% of batters, your setup guy striking out 18%. Like, that's not a talented bullpen.
No.
They had a 3.63 ERA last year. That's 7th best in baseball. Did Matt Quatrero do a good job last year and forget how to do that this year?
Right, exactly.
So my thought is, like, this is on the players and some injuries too. I mean, because you think about, like, this team, they're 7-16. They started off really poorly without injuries other than Carlos Estevez, which I think was a meaningful injury. It really was. But then they started riding the ship, and then they started getting hurt. And once they started getting hurt, they just couldn't overcome it. And I mean, they were 17-19 when Cole Reagans the night Cole Reagans pitched his last game. Then they were 19-21. Then Chris Bubich got hurt, and then Isbell and Pasquantino and Garcia, and I'm in the wrong order there, but I mean, you start to lose all these guys, and Strahm missed time too. Like, at some point, you just can't overcome it. Yeah. And they reached that point.
Yeah, absolutely. David Lesky from Inside the Crown. Hey, David, the MLB draft just went down. I'm going to ask you individually each 21. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Let's do it.
But I want to ask you just your overall thoughts in terms of how the Royals did in the MLB draft and maybe a word on maybe the top 3 guys. You got Zion Rose at the 6th pick. A lot of people kind of had him in the 30s, but the Royals really liked what they saw out of him. Tyler Rabe out of Ole Miss. And then a guy that we have watched this year, Max Yell in the third round. I mean, one of the best pitchers, I think, in all of college baseball from last year from West Virginia. But your thoughts overall in terms of how the Royals did in the MLB draft?
Yeah, I think they did. I'm not going to put Keith Law wrote this. He doesn't put a letter grade on graphs because it's ridiculous. So I'm not going to do that. I think they did fine. I think they did fine to well. Where I struggle with this draft is when you have the 6th overall pick, and it was a gift. They won that in the lottery because they had the 16th or 15th best record in baseball, however that works out. So they would have had the 16th pick in the draft if it had just gone straight record. They got pick number 6. When you've got that pick, which also comes with extra slot money, I was hoping for better. Now, I have come around a little bit, and some of that is because, like, you convince yourself. Let's be real. I mean, you start to talk yourself into players, and it doesn't matter. Where I've come around, though, Zion Rose. Baseball America put out a video yesterday or today. Well, it really shouldn't be a surprise that Zion Rose went 6th overall. I don't know why people are so confused about it. I'm like, well, because you ranked him 23rd.
You're right.
Like, if you thought he should have been the same, why did you rank him 23rd? And and I'll go through some of the ranking. Like Baseball America was 23rd, MLB Pipeline was 30th, Fangraphs was 17th, ESPN was 18th, Keith Law was 22nd. And that's fine. From my understanding, and I try to talk to people who aren't with the Royals, because the Royals are not going to say anything but, hey, we did this because we wanted the player. From my understanding, the Royals, this other teams, people from other teams are saying this. The Royals believe that Rose, Burris, Eric Booth, I'm trying to think, AJ Gracia, who went 9th overall, a bit of an overdraft as well in terms of the consensus rankings, were all kind of in the same jumble. And basically what they saw with Zion Rose is two things. One, they can get him for a little bit less than the others, which if you think they're the same, spend less and spend more later, because that's how the draft works. It's not, you're not just not spending that money, you're just putting it in a different pick.
Yeah.
And that when your floor is based on hit tool, you are much more likely to make it than when your floor is based on positional value. So like Drew Burris, for example, is a good bet to make it because he's a center fielder. Now he can hit, don't get me wrong, it's not his only value. But Zion Rose is a good bet to make it because he can hit. And there's a difference there. And I respect that. I understand that. And I talked to 3 scouts with 3 other teams. Rose was 11 on one of their boards, 13 on one, and either 12 or 14. I can't read my writing. But it's the consensus boards aren't what the teams are looking at. So I think that's really important to keep in mind. And I really like Zion Rose because he can hit. He's got crazy bat speed. Some people think he can handle center field. Most people think he's a left fielder. He does have a little bit of chase in his swing, but mostly with 2 strikes. So I had prime Reggie Sanders as a comp, which the Royals said Ron Gant, which I loved, but Reggie Sanders, heck of a comp. Taylor, now let's go back to the money really fast. I don't believe this is out there yet. But I have heard that Ray, whose slot was about 3.2 million, is going to sign for about 3.3, little over. And then Jack Slidham, their second pick, the slot of 1.7, he should sign for about 3 million. Okay, there's a good chunk of money. And I also heard Dominic Batista, the 4th pick, is at about 1.2 million with a $650,000 slot. So there's some money savings being put on other picks. And we want to talk about Rabe. Big arm, got to upper 90s, touched 100 with his fastball. He's got really good command, hard cutter. His slider doesn't have great spin, but he's got really good tilt on the ball, gets a lot of swing and miss. A lot of people believe he can both move fast and be good quickly. So he's really interesting. Slide him with the 2nd round pick. He's a high school guy who big time helium this year, got up to 98 with his fastball this spring. He's a little bit opposite of Ray. He's got crazy spin. The tilt's not quite there. He has a changeup that I think can be good at some point. One person told me this is a guy data-driven organizations are all over because they see the data on him and see that they can turn him into a good pitcher. Big frame, so there's some power to add. You mentioned Maxiel, yeah. He's a big dude, 6'6". Mm-hmm. He's got a really deceptive delivery, which helps his arsenal. But yeah, he's 96, 97 with his fastball. He doesn't have a lot of life on it, but he's got crazy extension because he's so tall. And then his high spin slider. I think there's a good chance he ends up in the bullpen, probably, maybe quickly. One scout told me I'd start him and live with the hiccups through at least 27 and see what happens. But yeah, and then I'll touch on a couple real quick. Dominic Batista, the outfielder who was not ranked by MLB Pipeline. A lot of people told me that's a miss, that he is super talented, fast, powerful. Somebody told me, and this is a weird comp, but stick with it, Bobby Witt type power in that it doesn't always show up, but like he can hit it 450 feet and go on a run. So I think that's really interesting. Dylan Veig, the 209th pick, 7th rounder, I believe, probably a reliever, but this heavy sinker and a really good slider, gets a ton of ground balls. Camden Johnson, the 9th round. I saw somebody say that they wouldn't be surprised if he was picked in the 2nd round. Like Just Baseball, who I read a lot, they had him ranked 82nd, and the Royals got him at 269th. Probably a utility guy, but good feel for the barrel, fast guy. But he can play shortstop, which is big. And then they popped in the 19th round for Hudson Devon, who is a high school pitcher from Indiana. He was ranked 111 on Baseball America, and they got him in the 19th round. they might have to put some of that money onto him to get him. But I think they have some from the Rose pick. And, as a high schooler, sitting 93, 94, 95, tops at 98, shows a good feel for breaking balls. So he's an Alabama commit, which, NIL money is not huge in baseball right yet. It hasn't gotten there really. It's still there, but it's not massive. But they're going to have to pay him if they want him. And I've heard that they think they can. They're not sure they can, but they think they can. So we'll see how that goes. But he's the back half pick who I think is really interesting. The one other guy, Lance Hartley, is a guy who I think the Royals mentioned thought that he would go on day one. They got him in the 12th round, and big power arm, big splitter. He's a transfer commit to South Carolina. So we'll see if they can get him signed too.
Man, that's a great breakdown as the MLB draft is now in the rearview mirror. David Lesky has phenomenal coverage. InsideTheCrown.substack.com. He's got over 5,000 subscribers. Give him a subscription. Stay up to date on all of that. And then, David, next couple weeks, as much as we'd like to, and we'll briefly touch on the actual games. We're going to be talking a lot of trade deadline with you guys who might be moved out and maybe get a few guys in. Who knows? But the Royals undoubtedly are sellers at this point, having the worst record in the league. So appreciate you.
Safe to say.
Appreciate you as always, David, and we'll chat next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, David Lesky, InsideTheCrown.substack.com. More coming up here on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright with Elijah Schmidt and Trey Myers behind the cameras today. Hey, Ameritrust is a new partner of us here at Kansas Nation. You know the feeling. The fieldhouse gets loud, the chant starts low, and the Jayhawks bring the energy. That's Lawrence. Ameritrust Credit Union thinks your money deserves that same feeling. A team in your corner that's pulling for you, win or lose, season after season. Financial well-being isn't just something they offer. It's why they exist. First car, first home, first business. Whatever's next in your money story, they're right around the corner at 6th and Wakarusa here in Lawrence. Real people making real decisions locally. Ameritrust Credit Union is the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Stop by the branch or visit ameritrust.org, federally insured by the NCUA. Hey, in the second hour of the show today, we are going to be talking NBA Summer League, how our Jayhawks did last night. Dan's going to give a top 10 things to do specifically this week, right?
Yes, specifically this week. This week is, what's the opposite of an equinox?
I don't know. Solstice?
Solstice. Yeah, the sports solstice?
Yeah. Solstice.
Yeah, because the sports equinox, usually it's like, hey, there's,
right.
All the major sports are happening on the same day. Now there's a solstice going on where there's nothing going on, at least tomorrow, right? You got the All-Star game tonight. I'm sure there's some golf. Maybe Wimbledon's over. I guess you get the Tour de France. Nick Springer is all about the Tour de France. But yeah, so I'm doing my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on. Just some different activities for the average sports fan when there's nothing going on, especially for this week. So you can check that out, kansasnation.com, if you want to make your way on over there.
Yeah, we're also going to have a KU football opponent outlook as we look at the November 14th opponent, West Virginia. If you are listening on ESPN Kansas City, as Dan said, flip on over to kansasnation.com for the final hour of the show. You can also catch us live on Facebook, live on YouTube as well. Talking a little home run derby as well, and some all-star game chatter. And then we've got a loaded show tomorrow, too. We'll have our KU mailbag segment. Find us on socials at the Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Kansas Nation on Facebook, at the Kansas Nation, also on YouTube. We'll have Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World. We're also going to ramp up our TBT talk throughout the week as well. So if you're listening on ESPN Kansas City, thanks for tuning in, and flip over to kansasnation.com for the remainder of Rock Chalk Sports. Welcome back. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright with you here for the second hour of Rock Chalk Sports. Well, we had David Lesky on a little bit earlier in the show via Zoom, InsideTheCrown.substack.com. He is a great Royals insider, and the next couple weeks we're going to be talking to him in detail about trade deadline stuff for the Royals. There's a lot of guys who could be moved. Lane Thomas is a name that's been mentioned, and he's been on fire recently. So really good against left-handed pitching. He's a guy who I could see being moved. And, yeah, like Lesky said, regarding the Royals, Dan, it sucks, but it gets to a point where there's so much attrition, it's just not going to happen for you. And that, it seems like, has been the case for the Royals, which sucks because – you do have some good players, and we're excited about the future of guys like Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione, and Bobby Witt and Michael Garcia are both still only 26, and I love that kind of foursome that we've got right there, and we'll see what happens with Pasquantino and see what the future looks like for Salvador Perez. But when you look at the injuries to Vinny and and Michael and Reagans and Bubic and Estevez. And I mean, it's just too much to overcome.
Even Bobby was injured for a little bit, right? I mean,
he missed
you still
5 days or so.
Yeah, missed 5 games. So, yeah, I mean, you can't control that, right? So that's really unfortunate. And then, I thought Lesky really did bring up a good point. I guess there's a hierarchy. I was talking a little bit about this off air with Trey Myers and Elijah. There's a hierarchy in terms of how much a coach can affect the game, right? Football is number one by far and away because they call the plays, every single thing that they have their kind of fingers in the pie. Basketball is probably number 2, and then baseball's down there with like volleyball, where like the coaches don't really do a whole lot. Like they can determine who gets called up, in the bullpen or whatever. But I mean, he had a great point of like, hey, the Royals got a guy who they specifically got to pitch in the 8th, and then he all of a sudden gets shelled. Like Matt Quachero's not the one who's pitching. Matt Quachero's not the one swinging the bats, right? So I think you're coming off of a year where, you essentially you had a playoff run, and now you suck this year, right? I think there needs to be a little bit more grace in terms of how you view Matt Quachero, whereas opposed to you need to start looking at the pitching coach and the hitting coach as opposed to Matt Quachero. I think Matt Quachero has done a good job ever since he's been here, but there needs to be more. And obviously, you need to be able to hit on these farm guys, on these draft picks that you're just now picking up. And I think a lot of these guys are going to be really nice additions to the Royals for the coming years. Right? I love the Maxiel pickup in the was it the 4th round, 3rd round, whatever it was. I mean, I absolutely love that. I think that's going to be a guy who can come in right away and be one of those guys for the Royals. So you need help with the bullpen. It's just not coming together, right? And at some point, I think you really need to kind of pin the blame on the players. Honestly, I mean, the players are just not playing as good as they should be.
Yeah, and again, the injuries too. That hasn't helped.
And the injuries.
It's been kind of everything, and honestly, it's been since the start of the season. And we've tried to talk ourselves into a run, and it's just not going to happen for the Royals. We'll see how the second half goes, and see, like I said, who gets moved, and hopefully these draft picks hit for Kansas City. Last night was the home run derby. We briefly touched on that as well with Lesky. Officially a 477-foot bomb from Cags. Looked like it was over 500. I mean, the dude is an absolute beast. I hope he gets a lot of home run derby appearances, all-star game appearances throughout his career. It's Jordan Walker who ends up winning the home run derby. I liked him as a dark horse yesterday when we brought this up. Over the favorite, Kyle Schwarber. Walker, down to his final few outs and needing to go on an absolute tear, did just that amidst a bunch of boos at Citizens Bank Park for the fans who were cheering for the hometown hero, one of the hometown heroes, Kyle Schwarber. But he got it done. He's the first St. Louis Cardinals player to win the home run derby. And also, I told you this off air, Dan, but his salary, despite being one of the best hitters in the National League this year, his salary is $779,000. He gets $1 million prize for winning the home run derby, not to mention a cool trophy and a cool necklace that 2006 Philly and home run derby champion Ryan Howard got for him. So a great night, and honestly, a young guy kind of slicing the ball through the boos, if you will. Good for him, even though none of us like the Cardinals.
Also, Kyle Schwarber was out there like cheering him on too. Like that was cool to see.
I love when all the guys are in their jerseys.
Yeah,
and you get your little like Michael Walker with his little daughter. That was so cute.
That was fun to see.
No, it is fun, and again, it's seriously nostalgic every year, the home run derby, because it reminds you, and I'm sure your birthday was around it every year growing up too, but it reminds you of like an awesome part of summer with fireworks and going to the pool, playing with your friends.
For sure.
And, home run derbies tonight. We gotta go home and watch that.
Usually there was a good stretch there, maybe 5 or 6 years in a row, where my dad would take us to a Royals game for my birthday, but it would always have to be like a week before my birthday or the week after my birthday, because my birthday always fell around the All-Star game.
Right.
So it was whatever. But no, again, it is a nice little kind of break, and I think the home run derby is fun. I agree with Lesky. I mean, Lesky talked about it. Like it's about the pageantry of it all. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to have a home run derby once a week, but once a year. Like it is so much fun to watch, and I think that I like the new rule changes as well in terms of it's a number of swings as opposed to like a running clock. I like it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. Congratulations, man, to Jordan Walker. I mean that was cool to see. Now,
it's nice when you have a guy who's not already. I mean, he maybe is a multi-million-dollar, but not much. He's not making $1 million a year.
He just made life-changing money.
And he really struggled after being a top prospect. He really struggled in 24 and 25.
Yeah.
And was able to answer the call. He's been one of the best hitters, like I said, in majors. And
I asked
gets
you
it
this:
done.
if there was $1 million at stake, do you think you could hit one home run in, and I'll say Kauffman Stadium?
There's no way.
You don't think so?
There's no way.
You don't think you got the power? I've seen you hit a home run with a softball.
With a softball on a softball field?
Yeah, aluminum bat. We'll give you an aluminum bat
I don't think so.
with
No,
a
there's
rocket
no way.
launcher on the end.
At the little K. I'll give you the little K. I could hit
Okay.
one.
All right.
All-Star game tonight. American League putting Dylan Cease out as their starting pitcher. National League has Christopher Sanchez. Of course, what sucks is, like I said earlier, a lot of guys are not participating for one reason or another because that's just how it goes, whether it's rest, injury, whatnot. So you're not going to see some of the game's brightest stars, but you will see some. And I'm going to go through some All-Star Game MVP odds according to DraftKings. And Dan, I'll ask you if you have anybody that you like. But the National League are favored at -135. Over-under is 8. I'll say this, you never really know in terms of an MVP because a lot of times it comes down to one swing, who gets it done. And usually the starters get a couple at-bats, maybe, and then the bench guys each get one at-bat. Most of the time, everybody gets in the game for an opportunity. I'll tell you who the favorites are. The hometown heroes, Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, are both plus 1,300. They'll probably maybe even get a third at-bat. Juan Soto is plus 1,800. Junior Caminero plus 2,000. Bobby Witt Jr. is plus 2,200, as is Yandy Diaz, Murataka Murakami, and Mike Trout. Plus 2,500, we've got 5 guys, including Tyler Brewer's favorite player, Pete Crow Armstrong. We've got Yordan Alvarez, Randy Arozarena, Jordan Walker, and James Wood, plus 2,500. And then a whole laundry list of other guys who knows, could come about and win the MVP. Who are you going here? Because I'm going with Bobby Witt Jr. at plus 2,200.
Sure.
So you can take anybody else.
You know what? I've been hearing a lot of really good things about him. Give me James Wood plus 2,500.
He's been laying the wood, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like
back-to-back leadoff homers the last couple days.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's been really solid over this last month or two, and I like James Wood. I you know what is it? Like you said, it's impossible to know because like every once in a while, like it'll come down to just one at bat. Like who knows, right? Ben Rice could get Wilson Contreras could just smack a homer. Like who knows? And wind up winning having a walk-off or whatever. So nobody knows exactly who it's going to be. It makes sense that Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper are up there just because it's in Philly and both those guys are Philly guys. Give me James Wood.
It does
I have a feeling about him.
It does suck that Aaron Judge is not playing, and either Shohei Ohtani, of course. He'd be the shortest odds of anybody, undoubtedly, but not playing due to injury. Really quick, the lineup for the American League, it's Trout, Alvarez, Shea Langoliers, Caminero, Witt, Cody Bellinger, Ben Rice, Riley Green, Ernie Clement. Vlad Guerrero was voted in. He's only got 6 homers. He's got a career low in like every offensive category.
Right.
And he said he's not playing to rest up and focus on the second half. Realistically, he's probably doing it because he's like, I don't deserve this. I didn't have a good.
I mean, the
fans voted him
all
in,
of Canada is voting for Vlad Guerrero Jr., which like makes sense, and that's kind of how it was back in whatever it was 2015. Like, oh my gosh, when you had Kendrys Morales and Paulo Orlando. I don't think Paulo Orlando was
Omar Infante.
Omar Infante, yeah.
One.
I mean, Omar Infante was the big one. So that's the fan vote, obviously. But I think Vlad Guerrero is doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think so,
resting up for the second half, but really, I think he understood like I do not deserve to be in this whatsoever.
Guys, AL who did not crack the lineup due to injury. Nick Kurtz, Aaron Judge, Byron Buxton. On the flip side for the NL, it's Schwarber, Soto, Freddie Freeman, C.J. Abrams, Max Muncy, Ozzie Albies, Brandon Marsh, Andy Pajes, and Drake Baldwin. And again, Ohtani not playing. Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies gets the start in his home park. Not surprising there. He has had a great season, except when he got absolutely shellacked by the Royals out of absolute nowhere. Right. And then Dylan Cease of the Blue Jays will start for the American League. Again, that's tonight, 7 o'clock, the All-Star Game from Citizens Bank Park. Dan, NBA Summer League.
Yeah.
Really the most exciting thing going on right now outside of baseball. We'll go through a few Jayhawks, but talked a lot the last couple of days about the success that Trey White and Melvin Council has had. That's been a good start.
So I'll start here with the Atlanta Hawks because the Atlanta Hawks, they wound up beating the Boston Celtics 102-90. Zeke Mayo had 20 minutes in this game coming off the bench, only 3 points, 1 for 7 from the field, and that was a three-pointer, went 1 for 4 from the three-point line. But again, added 3 steals to that as well. So Zeke Mayo showing that he can do it on the defensive side of the ball. Now, he did have a -7 in the plus-minus where you had, a bunch of other guys like Kobe Johnson at 23 minutes. He was +18 in this game. So that's impressive by him. Henry Vasar, had 20 points in this game, 23 minutes, but he was also a -7. But, it's good to see Zeke Mayo getting a little bit of run here. So, you obviously do like to see that out of Zeke Mayo. You did have Trey White obviously playing for the Miami Heat, but he did not play against the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 73-90 loss. Probably just, getting some more guys, some more run for that as well. Caleb Wilson had 19 points against the Utah Jazz. So, interesting stuff there. Darren Peterson for the Jazz. I'm trying to find it. He did not play.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just looking at that because he's not even on the DNP roster.
Yeah.
Very strange. So I don't know. I'm Googling if there's anything that's popped up, but
Caleb Wilson, by the way, he had 35 points in his Summer League debut.
Yeah, Wilson's been the big story.
Is this going to be one of those draft classes where you look back and talk about it like you do the 2003 or the 1996
absolutely it will be
draft?
Wilson,
because
I've been high on him, man, and
you have been.
Cardinal or Carolina fans are not happy with how that ended, and I don't think they're as salty as Louisville fans are about Michael Brown and that whole injury situation.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, back to back for the Jazz. Peterson didn't play. I think he'll play moving forward in the summer league, but understandable. They're not going to play everybody. And
DeJuan Harris should have 2 minutes for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah,
so important to know.
Shout out on that front for Wando. It's a cool experience for all of them, and hopefully they'll continue to get some action in the professional ranks, be it overseas or otherwise.
Warriors play tonight.
Yep. Would love to see KJ get out there.
Love to see KJ get out there. That's the only KU guy, I believe, who's going to be playing tonight. In terms of Wednesday, you get the Timberwolves. Again, Pelicans play against the Cavs, so maybe we'll see Melvin Council as well as Hunter Dickinson out there too. And then the Jazz play against the Spurs on Wednesday too. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on all this Summer League stuff. But yeah, it still is really fun to see all these guys. And, I guess, I don't know. Do you think who's the most likely person, Darren aside, who's the most likely person to make a roster out of the Summer League? Because for me, right away, it's Trey White. No doubt in my mind. I think Hunter Dickinson's already on a 2-way. So Hunter Dickinson's already kind of on the roster for the Pelicans. Melvin Council's been playing his butt off, and he's been okay. Zeke Mayo's been okay. Zeke Mayo's has a lot of points per minute. But Trey White has really impressed for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, he has. And they did sign Tim Hardaway. I know we've talked about that a lot because they traded a lot of their wings, notably Hero and Jaquez, the law firm, to the Milwaukee Bucks. So theoretically, they have an opening, but what we've seen is Trey White, more so than the other guys, I think this would be fair to say, can impact the game in other ways because he's such a good rebounder at his size. We talk about Josh Hart a lot. That's not a perfect comp because Josh Hart isn't as good of a shooter as Trey White.
He's 6'4", too.
Trey
White's like 6'6".
In terms of attacking the glass and rebounding well for his size, Trey White definitely is in that same category. Defensively needs to make some strides. There's no doubt about that. But hitting threes, and he's shown some ability to fill up the box score in other ways with steals and blocks. So I really hope he makes the team because he's a guy who bounced around college, as we know, but we know he's a talented guy. And again, if he can continue to shoot well, then that's going to be great, especially because we do see an opening there on that roster, even though the Heat recently signed Hardaway, and kind of what he does is hit threes. Hey, we've got a big event coming up on Saturday brought to us by our partners, The Good Game. Tell us a little bit about The Good Game because you're going to be over at the indoor football facility. Cool event that they're hosting for kids in the community. Yeah, it absolutely is. It's the Meet the Team Tour. KU football is going to be out there. Really exciting stuff. They are going to be out there. Let's see. That's going to be, this Saturday, July 18th. Where you can sign up at the Good Game /KU Athletics, where you can essentially sign up your kid and they can get lessons from these KU athletes. Yeah. I mean, this is a really cool thing. I'm going to be out there covering this, going to be getting as much content as possible, but shout out to Zarif Hawk, who runs the Good Game, friend of Kansas Nation, friend of Union Broadcasting.
So this is going to be a really cool thing. Be sure to sign up. Go to thegoodgame.com/KU Athletics. You can find it on their website, The Good Game. And I posted about it a couple days ago. I'm going to post about it again either today or tomorrow, just so you can have that link to be able to sign up your kid to get some training and go out and meet the team. That's what this is all about, the Meet the Team Tour by The Good Game.
Yeah, Zarif Hawk, awesome dude. We had him here at Kansas Nation a few months back. And again, they had one of these events with KU baseball back in Hoagland Ballpark that I had the opportunity to attend a couple months ago. But yeah, really cool lessons. And I mean, it's a kid's dream. Baseball, playing catch with some of your heroes at KU baseball and getting a chance to do similar stuff with KU football. That's coming up on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll have coverage of the basketball tournament. 2 out of 3. The first KU K-State game is Tuesday night at Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan. Stay tuned to Kansas Nation because hopefully we're going to have some exclusive coverage not only on Rock Chalk Sports but on our socials as well for the basketball tournament. And, if we hear any news, additional guys added to the roster, we'll let you know on that front too. All right, after this, it's a Top 10 Tuesday with Dan Courtwright. First, I want to tell you about Meritrust. Meritrust is the financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. They're a team that actually knows your name, and when you're ready to improve your financial game plan, they are ready. Meritrust Credit Union, like I said, the official financial well-being partner of KU Athletics. To learn more, go to meritrust.org. Meritrust.org, federally insured by the NCUA. More coming up with the Top 10 Tuesday. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. All right, well, we were just talking about the basketball tournament coming up next week, a week from tonight. Game 1 in a best-of-3 KU alums versus K-State alums. It's Jayhawks hoops against Purple Rain, and we do have some additions to the roster. We knew the following players were going to be on there: Marcus Garrett, Frank Mason, and Zeke Mayo. We have a defection from the roster as well, as Thomas Robinson is no longer listed on the roster. So we kind of knew that was going to happen just because it seems to always be how it goes. We've got Jacob Hanna, who returns. He was on Jayhawks hoops last year. Also,
nice player, by the way. I got a chance to cover him and Andrew Orr. Sorry for the spoilers.
You're good.
Those two guys, you guys know how much I absolutely hate Washburn. I hate them more than I hate Mizzou. But I was able to do a television game for Emporia State basketball for the last couple of years. I got to cover Jacob Hanna as well as Andrew Orr. Both those guys are very nice players. Like I'm shocked that they didn't transfer away from Washburn to go D1. Like that's how good they are.
Well, that's good news. I mean, 2 really good additions. One a guard, and Hanna 6'3". Again, we saw him a little bit last year, and then Orr 6'9", and as Dan said, both from Washburn. So in addition to Garrett, Mason, and Mayo, those 2 guys, you also have Tyshawn Taylor listed here, and he's, as expected, kind of a slash. He's a player / GM / owner. He is listed, but he's got a number 10 right there. The custodian, Kevin Young, back on the team. He, of course, ended his career at KU after playing a little bit at Loyola Marymount. And then 2 other guys that you probably do not know: Tradeon Hollins, 6'2" point guard, most recently played in Mexico, but played at Chipola Junior College. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Looks like
and
it. Also
Omaha as well.
Yeah.
And then DJ Burns, not that DJ Burns, different DJ Burns, Southern University and A&M College, Murray State, and Youngstown State. He is listed. So again, Marcus Garrett, Frank Mason, Zeke Mayo, Jacob Hanna, Andrew Orr, Tyshawn Taylor, Kevin Young, Tradeon Hollins, and DJ Burns are the 9 players listed right now for the Kansas alum team, that being Jayhawks hoops. And check right now while we're listening. Of course, we were focused on KU, but check and see what Purple Rain looks like. Of course, led by Michael Beasley. That was the big one. They've added a lot of guys as well. In terms of players, names that you'll recognize: Jacob Poland is back. Of course, he had that rivalry with Sharon Collins as they were in school at the same time. Cartier Jada is on this team. Dejuan Gordon, who played at K-State and Missouri. And then Xavier Sneed, you probably recognize as well. A couple other K-State guys: Austin Trice and Sean Williams. They've also got a guy named John Florvius from Georgia, Brandon Childress from Wake Forest, and Tiante Robertson from Panola College. So that's what K-State looks like. Their general manager is Martavius Irving. They've also got Jordan Henriquez Roberts. You recognize his name, and I'm sure you would also recognize Clint Stewart, who played at K-State and scored a lot of points for them. So it's shaping up to be a fun best-of-3 series. Dan's going to be out there in Manhattan Tuesday, and then at Lee Arena on Wednesday. That'll be KU's quasi-home game in Topeka for Game 2 of the best of 3 against Purple Rain. All right, let's get into this Top 10 Tuesday, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm itching to know how I'm going to fill my time this week.
Yeah. If you are wondering what you're going to do without any sports on your television or any sporting events you can go to, I have compiled a list of different things that you can get into. So this is my top 10 things to do when there's no sports on. Thursday, we might do a birthday-related draft. Is that all right with you?
Okay.
Because tomorrow's my
your
birthday.
But in honor of Ted Owens, we could do
in honor of Ted Owens, we can do a
birthday-related
birthday-related draft as well. I got to think of something birthday-related. If you have any ideas, shoot me a DM or a text or something. All right, my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on, starting with number 10. Number 10 on my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on, housework. So I've been doing
Sounds
this.
fun.
I did this on Sunday. There was really nothing going on Sunday. You had a couple of, you had a couple of World Cup games, right? On Sunday.
No
World Cup games on, no cup checks on Sunday.
No cup checks on Sunday, but you did have a little bit of baseball to close out the first
you had
half.
some baseball to close it out. But Sunday, I mean, there was nothing for me to do. And so I wound up trying to, fix my mower. And then I just wound up hanging like 10 pictures in my house just because I was like, I need something to do. I couldn't sit around.
That's not bad.
I threw on the news for a little bit, but then I was like, I'm getting a little fidgety. So I hung a towel rack in my bathroom. Then I hung up some pictures. And then,
That's productive.
and then I tried to fix my lawnmower. So, and I also
Successfully
put it
or no?
Successfully, and then I also no, not successfully on the lawnmower. The lawnmower. So my lovely wife, Piper, she said, and I quote, "I swear I thought you could run over rocks." So
With the lawnmower.
with the lawnmower, this was not
You
just
can, but probably just the one time.
yeah, and so this happened twice. No, the first time it completely bent the blade at like a 90-degree angle. So I went and I replaced the blade, got a new one, and she ran over the same rock. And this isn't gravel we're talking about. We're talking, this is a big piece of limestone. It's like, lining our garden in our front yard. Ran it over, and it completely shifted the blade backwards, and now the bolt is cutting into the blade, and there's two prongs that come down. Those prongs have completely disappeared. So now you have two prongs pressing down on the blade and then the bolt coming up against the blade. I have tried everything. I tried a sledgehammer. I tried, like putting the ratchet on and then like kicking it. That is not coming off. And our mower might be out of commission now, which sucks because my mother just got it for me as a wedding gift.
Ooh,
it is a brand
what's
new
Piper have
mower.
to say about that?
She says, "I'm very sorry."
Okay. That's fair.
So I'm going to keep on trying to work on it, but that's what I did on my Sunday because there was nothing for me to do. There was no sports to watch. I throw on a baseball game, I guess, but just getting some housework done.
All right.
That's something I'm not able to do, in the
It is a good
season.
time. It is a good time to kind of reset. And
Yeah.
then I'll say this. You know me, I'm a baseball nut. When Friday comes around, man, woo,
You're back in.
I'm pumped.
You're back
I'm
in.
pumped. It's like,
Yeah.
give me some beers. Actually, there is a game Thursday night.
Yeah.
But I will actually be working Thursday night.
That's right.
So let me check this because if the Cubs play at 1:20 Friday, vibes are going to be up. Vibes are going to be up. Friday, what day is Friday? The
PCA.
17th.
17th.
Cubs will. You know what? The Cubs are on the road. They don't play, but there's a random Rays Red Sox game at
Okay.
12:35.
Look at that.
So how about that?
Sean will be locked in.
That'll work.
Sean will be.
The Cubs are at home and they're not playing at 1:20.
I know.
What?
That's
That's got to be just
that's the
because
whole thing,
people probably
right?
complained about it being they don't want to play after the All-Star break.
Yeah, sure.
But still,
guess.
Phillies and Mets are playing Thursday night. You got the Rays and Red Sox playing this really weird 12:35 game on Friday.
Yeah.
Schwarber and Harper have got to be annoyed. I mean,
I'm
we've
sure.
talked about that before. Some of the All-Stars probably want to respectfully opt out so they actually get a break.
Yeah.
Schwarber and Harper had the
Go
Derby
along.
last night. They're the shortest odds to win their MVP, and then they get one day,
Yeah.
and then they're back at it Thursday. They can't be happy about that. Granted,
No, I can't
paycheck,
imagine they are.
a
Oh
paycheck
yeah,
looks
yeah.
like-
Hey, they're making.
They're
a
doing
good
okay.
job. I think
They'll survive.
I thought all home run derby participants got
Do they?
Like $100,000, I think. Just
that'd be great.
rocking
I
it.
don't know. If so, then I don't know by anybody ever.
I thought I had
opts
heard.
out.
I was listening on the radio on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Shout out. That $2.5 million was the entire pot, and $1 million goes to the winner, and they split up the rest of it to like $500,000 goes to the longest home run, and then second place gets like $250,000, and then like each individual person gets $100,000 or something along those lines. I probably did that math wrong, but it was something like that.
I did like that it was actually a really good field.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very good field. A lot of times you have guys opt out. Now, would we have loved to see Ohtani and Judge in it? Yes, but, injuries.
I'm at the point right now where I want to watch as much Shohei Ohtani as possible, just because you're watching greatness.
Goat.
Number 9 on my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on, puzzles. Are you a big puzzle guy?
I want to be a puzzle guy.
I think I like it. I would like to be a puzzle guy in theory. I've never actually fully committed to being a puzzle guy. I think now, maybe tomorrow, would be a good time to do it.
It would be.
I've gotten probably a quarter of a puzzle done before.
A quarter of a puzzle?
Many
right.
times, probably. I've gotten about 1/4 of a puzzle done until I've given up. But puzzles, to me, seem like it would be a fun thing to do. Ava's not into puzzles?
She does like puzzles. She's very good. She's very good at them. So we haven't really figured out. We might have to move her up to more pieces. But,
sure, right. Give
but
her one of those 1,000-piece ones?
One thing that my wife and I try to always do over Christmas is do a Christmas puzzle. It's always fun because that's one of the few times of the year.
So you are a
you're
puzzle
like, all
guy.
right, I can have. I like puzzles, but that's literally the only time that I do it.
Okay.
I wish I would have before I had kids. So you should take advantage.
I might do that.
Nice calming. Maybe pop on a movie or a sitcom and get some things firing up top.
We got a puzzle for Christmas last year, still in the wrapping.
Yeah.
So I might break it out tomorrow. Who knows? A little birthday puzzle for me.
Hey, it's on the list.
It's on the list. It's on the list. That's why it's not. I mean, it's number 9 on the list, but it's on the list.
Still on the list.
I mean, I'm trying to think of anything I can do. Literally anything I can do. I mean, I guess I don't have like TV in here. Like, 'cause you just watch TV anytime. Number 8 on my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on. Learn to cook gourmet meals. Are you a good cook? I think I've asked you this before.
I think so.
I'm going to take this as a no. Who does the majority of the cooking in your household?
DoorDash. No. Caitlin usually, because usually I get home and I'm playing with Ava.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the thing is,
what's
I
your
think I've said
specialty?
this before.
What's the best meal that you can cook?
Homemade pizzas.
Ooh, nice.
Homemade pizzas. Yeah. Fire. You get
like you go like, I mean, do you make the dough yourself? Or
No,
you just go,
no.
All right.
No, tortillas actually.
Little ghetto
because I've
pizzas. I
tried-
used to make those in college all the time.
Yeah, but we spruce them up a little bit. You get the seasoning on there, and I've tried with legitimate like store-bought pizza crust, and it doesn't cook as good. But this is like a delicious thin crust pizza. You get your veggies, you get whatever meats you want.
Yeah.
I know exactly how to cook them in the oven. They come out perfect.
Okay.
Caitlin likes to do a lot of like sheet pan veggies and like chicken sausage or stuff like that.
That's good.
You feel good after
Healthy
eating
stuff,
it because
right.
it's healthy. And yeah, how about you?
I mean, I'm up there. Like pizzas, I'm really good at making pizzas. So I actually made the best pizza in Topeka one year.
Really?
It was voted on. Well, my restaurant did. But it was, I was the main cook. Shout out to La Rocca's, dude. Best pizza in Topeka, like many years in a row.
All right.
I moved back home for a summer while I was in college, and I worked at a pizza place called La Rocca's, and it was voted best pizza in Topeka by the Topeka Capital Journal.
Sweet.
Shout out to Jordan Gusky. I'm nice at making pizzas. I'm really good at making any kind of pasta dish. Really, I can make maybe the best sandwich you've ever had before. I have a special slaw that I can make.
You have told me that. I would love for you to make one for me because I'm a huge sandwich
red
guy.
wine vinegar
absolutely.
is the key to the slaw.
Absolutely.
It's mayonnaise, red wine vinegar, lettuce, pepperoncinis, a little salt and pepper. Mix that thing up. Talk about it's like a Scooby-Doo sandwich, man. It's so good. It's so good.
I look forward to it.
But I'm going to maybe branch out tomorrow and figure it out. Number 7 on my top 10 things to do when there are no sports going on. Learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, my God, man.
I'm trying to think of any way to burn time, and that to me from what I have heard, is a time burner. Have you ever dabbled?
No.
I have a buddy who has.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a buddy who has, and he said it's
Which buddy?
definitely...
Is it somebody I know?
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
No, his name is Joe.
Does Calvin play?
No. He's not.
Does Brian play?
No.
Well,
I think he's tried.
Yeah.
I think that's, in terms of like burning time, like killing time.
I don't even know the rules.
Neither do I. I don't know anything about it. I think my dad used to play.
I would believe that.
Yeah. I think he has before, like a few times.
Yeah. No, seems
But
overwhelming
it's just
for me.
a classic time burner. You know what I mean? Like you could play like Sorry or Monopoly or something like that. But like Dungeons and Dragons, like that can go on for weeks.
I
You know
love
what
Monopoly.
I don't like it.
I know. I'm a big Monopoly.
I do not
guy.
like Monopoly. The board game Monopoly it's a bad board game. If you say that's crazy, I know you're lying to me. You like Monopoly in theory.
I do like
then
Monopoly.
When you go and you actually play Monopoly, you hate it.
I love it, man.
That cannot be
I love
true.
it. I'm a big fan. I love the strategy.
Stupid game. What am I at? 6? Number 6
I
on my
think
top
so.
10 things to do when there are no sports on. I'm going to go with gardening. I've been getting into gardening lately.
Really?
Yes. But I have been getting
now you
into
don't
gardening
have a
lately.
lawnmower, which sucks. Do you need to borrow my mower, by the way? You
Maybe.
might
I have
to.
a neighbor who's letting me borrow their lawnmower right now. But
Your neighbors are great
sit-
people. You've got a great selection.
well,
of
yeah,
neighbors.
yes. 99% of my neighbors are fantastic, but the ones that live directly west from me are kind of not great people. I'm not using their lawnmower, by the way. But anyway, I said I've been getting into gardening, which means my wife has been getting into gardening, and I've been doing all of the digging.
The digging, yes.
Which is the worst part of gardening.
But eventually you'll be doing the eating, right? What are you guys growing?
So it's not that kind of gardening.
Oh.
I'm talking like flowers. Yes. I wish we could do like
I would
peppers
love
or
to have a
tomatoes
garden,
or
yeah.
Oh, Piper's grandpa, he grows radishes and tomatoes and all different kinds of stuff. It's delectable.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. But I like getting out there, touching grass, getting some dirt under the
Literally.
fingernails, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Getting that dirt under it feels good, you know what I mean?
What was number 8? So 10 was housework, 9 was puzzles.
8 was Dungeons and Dragons.
See, that was 7. I think you missed one.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, cooking.
Okay.
Learn how to cook gourmet meals.
Learn how to cooking. But I will say, when Dan does this, he does not number them.
No, I don't.
He literally will make a list of like 20, and then he'll decide on the fly, and then he'll either forget things or...
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main thing.
I'm picking like the
things
Royals
out.
do.
Or he'll have no idea where he's at.
Yeah, I'm picking like the Royals.
Yeah, that's
just
rude.
kind of by the
That's
seat of my
rude.
pants. What was that 6?
That was 6.
All right, number 5 on my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on. Learn how to play an instrument.
Yeah. You're going to do that in 3 days?
Yeah.
Or one
well,
day?
I can play
Or
instruments. You don't think I'm musically inclined? I actually, by the way,
I got the perfect one for you. Triangle.
yeah, I can play a triangle, dude. Okay, I was first chair trumpet for 2 years in high school.
I thought you were a tromboner.
I was trumpet.
Okay.
I was a trumpeteer.
Oh, man.
First chair, I actually won most outstanding musician my senior year in the whole high school.
But that's something that you're very humble about.
I'm very humble about it. I'm actually
It's ping pong where you are mid and
I'm not
whistling,
mid.
which I hope to never know.
I'm very good at whistling, and I'm not humble about it. And I'm very humble about most things. And, I would say I'm probably the most humble person I know. I don't think anybody in the world is as humble as I am.
You are incredibly humble.
I am
you
very-
are
I am
incredibly humble,
so
and you will be the
humble.
first to say it.
I will tell everybody how humble I am. Everybody
Yes.
needs to know how
There is
humble
a-
I am.
there is a
I'm a
2-minute
very good instrument player. I was so good at trumpet. I can tinkle the ivory a little bit. Is that right? Am I using that right? Tinkle the
No,
ivory.
that doesn't sound right.
Tinker the ivory.
Again.
Tinkle.
I don't know
Yeah,
why.
tinkling the ivory. I can play a little piano.
I thought this whole time you were a tromboner.
No,
All right,
I was a trumpet. No,
there's
I can play the ukulele.
There is
I
a
played the ukulele when my sister walked down the aisle.
8-minute,
This is true.
39-second YouTube video on how to play the triangle. Triangle 101, a beginner's guide to playing.
How
this
long is it? 8 minutes and
percussive
39 seconds.
Wonder, yeah.
What is the
I don't know,
other
so far
8 minutes and
so far
37
the
seconds?
The guy's just banging the triangle with a
Sure.
thing.
I believe that.
Anyway, all right, number 4.
I played the ukulele when my sister walked down the aisle,
That's cute.
and it was
And then you married her.
hallelujah. Yeah, and then I married my sister. Yes, I did, and her husband. I performed the wedding.
Shout out to Dalton.
Can you
and,
play?
Kayla, by
Can
the
you
way.
play any? Have you ever been able to play any instrument?
I took like 3 piano lessons at one point.
Okay, so you tinkle on the ivory.
Yes,
Okay,
we'll go with that. Are you sure tinkle is the right word?
I'm pretty. Am I wrong about this? Tickle.
I don't think
tickle
tinkle.
the ivory. It's
don't
not
think-
tinkle.
I don't think I tinkle on the ivory.
That's crazy.
What is number 4 on this?
I don't know. I'm
going to
do some more information. I'm going to do some more research on this, and then I'll keep you up to breast on how it's said. Number 4.
What was the word? What was the quote unquote word he used the other day? Sizeability.
This is falling off the rails right now.
He's got really good sizeability.
Yeah. This is falling off the rails right now. I said androgynous the other day. Oh man! All right. This is falling off the rails. Number 4 on my top 10 things to do when there are no sports on. I'm going to go with fishing.
That's a great choice.
Just go fishing. I love fishing.
Do you have any tackle or a rod and reel?
No.
Makes it tough.
Yeah, I also don't have a fishing license.
Yeah, you could get a stick and some line and a hook. That would be a good start.
That'd be good.
And some bait.
How many fish do you think you caught on your week-long trip to Canada?
Upwards of 100.
That's crazy.
It's great. And I was not even the most successful
That's
of
actually
them all
insane.
by any stretch.
Every time, by the way, this is a true fact. Because I don't go fishing very often. I've probably been like fishing in my life 25 times.
Yeah.
I've caught a fish every single time I've gone fishing.
That's great.
Every single time
it's
I've
not
caught
a guarantee.
I know.
Where do you fish? When you fished in the past, where do you fish?
So I used to go, maybe, I don't know. I used to go a little bit in college. We used to go to Lake Melbourne, which is near Emporia. I've bounced around a few different places kind of around Emporia. There's a place out by Carbondale Lake, where I would go sometimes. Last time I went out on Piper's parents' land, caught a couple. Caught a little bluegill. So it was nice.
Bluegill are cute. They're adorable.
I've never caught a fish.
So what do you use if you don't have a rod and reel? Your dad has one?
Oh, I'll just borrow others.
Okay.
Other people's. Or I'll just use my hands. Maybe I'll carve a spear.
What bait have you used?
I don't know.
Night crawlers? Worms?
Minnows. Yeah, night crawlers work for me.
Yeah.
I've used minnows. And then just the little rubber guys.
I'm excited to take Ava fishing at the Ozarks.
Yeah. Has she been before?
Little pink pole. No, but in the bathtub with her pretend.
Oh, she's going to hate the fish.
Oh.
She's going to hate.
Oh, my God, absolutely.
You're going to bring that fish up to her and she's going to.
No, she's going to
freak out.
She's going to run away. Yeah.
So I said I've never not caught a fish. I've also never successfully unhooked a fish before.
Interesting.
I don't like getting my hands in their mouths.
No, you did. You get used to it. It's great. I was actually upset when I got back from Canada that my hands weren't more torn apart. I was like, I expected my hands to be like bloody and gashed and didn't catch enough fish. Certainly not enough
scar,
fighters.
Battle scar. Battle wound.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
That's fair. All right, number 3 on my top 10 things to do when there are. God, I keep on saying that. When there are no sports on. Yoga.
Have you ever done yoga?
I have.
Does Cody teach it over at the
Maybe he
rec
does.
center?
We actually used to do yoga when we played football. It would be like a weird spring thing, and it'd be like maybe once or twice every year, where we'd go out on the field. It'd be pretty hot, but then we would have a yoga instructor, and the whole entire football team would do yoga, and that was like one of the hardest things I've done.
It is, dude.
It's very difficult.
Hard. Yeah.
But I think I could get into it.
So Caitlin and I did P90X for a while, and they have really
yoga?
tough. No, they have yoga videos, but it's workout videos basically, and they have really tough ones like plyometrics is constant jumping.
P90X, isn't that like a VHS? How old are you?
No, it's I think you can get a subscription. We definitely use DVDs though. Let me check. P90X.
That's still DVDs is still dating you.
It's 50 cents.
You have a DVD player?
50 cents a day. PS4. PS4.
Okay.
DVDs burned right in the PS4. Anyway, so yes, they have really difficult ones that get you really sweaty and get a good workout in because you've got plyometrics where you're constantly jumping and all that sort of stuff. And then you have Kempo, which is like karate. You can do all that. The most difficult ones were yoga.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
Like I cannot hold this pose.
It is tough.
No,
I agree. It's very hard.
It is something that'd be good to get into.
I agree. I absolutely agree. All right, number 2 on my top 10 things to do when there is no sports going on. Just stare at a wall.
Great choice.
Yeah, I'll just do that sometimes. Just, that's all I can do. That's all you can do. Watch paint dry.
I knew you were going to have that on here.
Yeah.
At one point.
It's number 2. It's number 2 on my list of top 10 things to do when there's no sports on.
Just stare at a wall. So
just stare at a wall.
Let's see. When does NFL fall camp report dates? Oh, my God. For some teams, it is literally the end of this month. I mean, that makes sense because the Cardinals and they literally have a game. Training camps. Okay, so the Cardinals is July 22nd. The Panthers is July 21st.
Okay.
That's great. July 24th for the rookies for the Chiefs and July 28th for the veterans for the Chiefs. So it's coming up, man.
It's coming up.
And then fall camp for Jayhawk football.
So you're just going to catch me staring at a wall until then.
Good.
That's what I'm going to do.
Just don't talk.
Number 1. On my top 10 things to do when there are no sports going on, watch 2017 Frank Mason highlights.
There it is. Mm-hmm. Usually you say 2016, 2017. So you're just going to ignore the game winner against Duke that happened in November?
Against Duke. They're lumped together. It's 16 and 17.
We got a chance
Naismith Player of the Year.
Hear from Frank Mason.
That's right. I do have some honorable mentions. I liked this one a lot. Just reading up on fantasy football mock drafts.
Yeah.
Just doing a little bit of research. You know what I mean? Get on yahoosports.com. Maybe Christian McCaffrey's not going 1 overall this year. You know? I think it's good to get...
Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is supposed to go number 1, isn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I don't know that. But I'm saying, like...
Is that right?
It's good to,
Gibbs, McCaffrey?
It's good to get ahead of the curve on that because I'm in a very competitive fantasy football league. And so I need to do a little bit of reading. And so I probably am going to do that.
Have you ever won it?
Huh?
Have you ever won it?
Not this particular league, no.
Damn.
I know. It was really, really unfortunate for me. But also, just reading up on some college football teams, like we have been doing, which we're actually going to be previewing West Virginia in this hour.
We are. Next segment to close out the show, actually. For what it's worth.
Do I have any other honorable mentions?
Gibbs projected to go number 1.
Oh! Vacation.
Bijan 2. Vacation would be great. This would be a great week to be on vacation.
It would be a great week to be on vacation. I don't know why. Yeah, I probably should have put that in there.
You and I both timed that wrong. You did early June and late September. I did June and July.
Yeah.
For our vacations this year.
Yeah, I timed it very wrong. But I wouldn't this week. Like if you were to leave me on this week, I would kill you.
Brutal.
I would actually kill you.
This is a 2-man show type week.
Yeah, for sure. This is we're bringing you the best content that we can.
Yes. Thankfully, next week when I'm out, you've got the basketball tournament going on. And also, when you're gone in September, it's football season, baby.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's bye week, but still, you get a lot of stuff.
It is a bye week, but other teams play.
That's true.
Other teams play, and the Kansas City Chiefs play.
I'll be excited to hear your breakdown of Maction on Wednesdays.
Oh,
that'll be so much fun.
Don't tempt me with a good time, man. Absolutely. And that's Dan's top 10 things to do this week with no sports on. Thanks for hanging in here on Rock Chalk Sports. Hey, spring and summer are made for backyard fun. Right now, when you sign up for the season at Custom Lawn and Landscape, your first application is absolutely free. First application is free. So if you've got kids or pets running outside, getting bothered by fleas, ticks, and chiggers, make sure you take advantage of Custom Lawn and Landscape's insect control program. It's a simple way to take back your backyard this spring and summer. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your free first application with a seasonal insect control program. Custom Lawn and Landscape, helping you love your lawn without the bugs. After this, to close down RCS today, we're taking a look at West Virginia, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com. With Jayhawk Checking from Central Bank, Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card, a simple way to show school spirit every day. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. Learn more about Jayhawk Checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. Jayhawkchecking.com, Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. We are continuing our KU football opponent outlook as we look at West Virginia, who Kansas will face on November 14th. Last year, West Virginia was a broken team. Kansas killed them here in Lawrence, 41-10. That was KU's first Big 12 game. Hawks improved to 3-1, 1-0 in Big 12 play. JD threw 3 touchdowns. They had a lot of injuries, did West Virginia. Nico Markiel, not a very good quarterback. He was 15 of 27 with an interception. So it was a feel-good start to Big 12 play for KU, but a lot of things have changed in Morgantown, Dan.
Yeah, and, Nico Markiel winds up taking a back seat. I think he got injured too, but you saw Scotty Fox last year start 6 games for West Virginia. He's back this year. He was a true freshman last year, and some nice stats, I would say. I mean, he did pretty okay. He had 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, did have 6 interceptions, which was tied for 27th in the nation, 49.9 QBR overall. But now it's going to be essentially a 2-horse race between him and Michael Hawkins Jr., who transfers over from OU. Didn't have a lot of stats. Obviously with last year, OU had a very, very good quarterback, but he still wound up getting a little bit of play. He had 15 completions on 27 attempts, 167 yards. The year prior to that, he actually had 783 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for the Sooners. Transfers over from Oklahoma to West Virginia. Now, like I said, really a 2-horse race. There's no real indication in terms of who's going to be that number 1 guy just yet. Kind of similar situations with KU where they have 2 guys in the running right now. You're probably not going to know who West Virginia's quarterback is going to be up until maybe the start of the season. So we'll keep our eye on both of these guys. You got to think maybe Scotty Fox has a little bit of a leg up just because of the fact that, he is an experienced guy at West Virginia, but at the same time, they have a brand new head coach coming in. Well, I say brand new. It's Rich Rod. Rich Rod's coming back to West Virginia from Jacksonville State after a little bit of a hiatus from Morgantown. So that'll be interesting to note. They are bringing over a really nice running back from Jacksonville State as well. Cam Cook, he's going to be a senior this year. Really, really solid player. If you look what Cook did last year for Jacksonville State, he was actually on a Doak Walker watch list and one of the kind of finalists for it. 1,659 yards, 16 touchdowns last year. Really nice running back. He played a little bit at TCU the 2 years prior, then transferred over to Jacksonville State, put up ridiculous numbers at Jacksonville State. Now he is here with the Mountaineers. So interesting guy to watch for there. Not a lot of rushing to be had kind of spread out amongst West Virginia from last year. Diore Hubbard was really their number 1 guy, 96 carries, but only 335 yards, 4 touchdowns for Hubbard last year. Sincere Bowers had 63 carries, only 249 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? They did a lot of their stuff through the air. Scotty Fox is really nice through the air, as well as Michael Hawkins through the air. They did lose Cam Vaughn. Cam Vaughn was their number 1 receiver from last year. 35 receptions, 541 yards. He actually transfers to Miami, but they do bring over some nice pieces. Prince Strachan, who only had 1 reception for 25 yards last year at USC, but in 2024, he had 25 receptions for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns. So should be a really nice addition there. And then also bringing over DJ Epps from Troy. He had 47 receptions, which is tied for, that's top 150 in the nation. And then 512 yards last year, wound up getting 5 touchdowns. Also 4 carries, 17 yards last year for Troy. So interesting, pretty much a whole roster rehaul. Obviously, when you bring in a new head coach, you're going to have a ton of guys transfer out, ton of turnover on this squad, but they're having They at least have a quarterback with some experience in a West Virginia jersey coming back in Scotty Fox, but who knows who that starter is going to be. It'll be interesting to kind of see where this team is going to go. If you're looking at ceilings and floors, right? Ceiling, they could be really good, or in floor, they could be really bad. It's probably the biggest disparity between, just because we don't know what to expect out of this Mountaineer program.
24/7 Sports has West Virginia as the 14th best incoming transfer class in the Big 12. 16 teams, they're 14. Kansas is 13 for what it's worth. But I look at this game, this is not a game that we're talking about as Kansas potentially winning, and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
Why when we look at this Kansas schedule, are we saying we can't find any wins? You just assume KU's not going to win any games on the road. Why is that? When you're going to Morgantown, and second-year coach Rich Rodriguez didn't have a good team last year, and they're not bringing in an unbelievable amount of talent. They are bringing in Cam Cook, which is nice, and he was a good player. We remember him at TCU, and like you said, he balled out for Jacksonville State last year. But they've got questions at quarterback, and we talk about that all the time in Sports Talk Radio. We talk about all the problems that our teams have. Other teams have problems too.
Yeah.
And, they're maybe, I would guess, going to be relying on Michael Hawkins, who comes over from Oklahoma, as their quarterback. But we don't really know. There's no reason Kansas can't go to Morgantown, at least on paper, and win this game.
Yeah. They
Kansas
went 4-8 last year. Yeah, and they lost a lot of guys.
And KU beat them by 31. I know they didn't have, a healthy team when that happened, but still, there's a lot of moving factors. I think you look at this schedule, you get to November, and Kansas has UCF and then at West Virginia. you could win both those games, unquestionably. And then you're back home. It's against a probably good BYU team. But still, I think I differ from Shreyas Lada, who says that the schedule doesn't do KU any favors. I think there's a lot of winnable games here for KU. Now, Arizona State and London is going to be difficult. Kenny Dillingham has built an awesome program. And your first two Big 12 games after you come home and face Middle Tennessee to close out non-con are at Utah, at K-State. Those are going to be tough games. I understand that. But then Baylor at home, Dave Aranda's probably even going to be more on the hot seat than he is now. At TCU, yeah, you're not going to be favored in that one. But then UCF at home and at West Virginia, who has Rich Rodriguez shown anything to make you think that he's going to lead this program on an unbelievable ascent?
No.
I don't think so. It's only been 1 year since he's been back in Morgantown, but still, that's definitely a game Kansas could win. So, yeah, I think when you're trying to get to 6-7 wins for this Kansas team, that is one that you look at, even though it's on the road. Kansas didn't win road games for a dozen years or however long it was. Now they are a program who can win games on the road. They went from 2008 until 2021 without winning a conference game on the road. They can get it done. And you know what? They did it in a big way. They had that walk-off victory against West Virginia in Morgantown. Kobe Bryant. They beat Houston on the road. I think it was the week after that. So a lot of good memories on the road. They beat Texas on the road later that year. They can win games on the road. There's no reason that KU fans should look at this WVU game in Morgantown and think that's going to be a loss, in my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree, right? And even if you look at the schedule in and of itself, right? I mean, if you're coming off of, going essentially 2-1, that's what I'm going to be hoping for in the 3 games leading up to West Virginia, because you beat Baylor, you could lose to TCU, and then you beat UCF at home. You have a nice little thing going on right there. If you're able to beat UCF at home, you go out to Morgantown with a little bit of momentum, and West Virginia still figuring their stuff out. This is for sure a winnable game. And to your point, like, this isn't the KU teams of the past where you just look at all the road games and you go, okay, well, those are losses. You know what I mean?
But I do feel like some of our colleagues do that.
I know, and maybe it's still the name bias, right? Maybe they're still not bought in because maybe there is a little bit of the, well, this could potentially be the Kansas teams of the past, but it's not. This is not the Kansas team of the past. I think Kansas can go into Morgantown and whoop up on West Virginia because they did it. They did it last year in Lawrence. I understand that, but they still beat them by 31 points, right? A lot of turnover. They brought in a number of relatively talented players, but like you said, they're the 14th ranked transfer portal class in the Big 12, according to 24/7 Sports. Like, they didn't bring in, a top caliber transfer class. Like, they have a guy who started 6 games last year, had 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. They're also bringing over, essentially an SEC backup quarterback. Both those guys could potentially be better than they were last year, but still, I think when you're looking at it, this is a beatable West Virginia team.
Yet another Trey Lathan revenge game. He had an interception last year against WVU. And, yeah, I think when we're talking about the schedule, we focus on who we play, and that's important. But Kansas doesn't have to face Arizona this year. They don't have to face Texas Tech this year. You get UCF and Baylor at home. You get West Virginia on that schedule. These are winnable games for KU. Yeah. And we've seen that they can play with everybody in this conference since Coach Leipold has gotten here. Now they got to close it out. And, we'll see how it looks, but looking forward to the season coming up here on September 4th. That's going to do it for Rock Chalk Sports today. Big shout-out and thank you to our technical director, Elijah Schmidt, assisted by Trey Myers. Today, for Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying we'll catch you tomorrow from 4 to 6. Henry Greenstein will be here in studio, and we'll take your questions as well in KU Mailbag. Thanks for watching Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com.